How rich is Kevin McCarthy, newly appointed Speaker of the House? Republican Kevin Owen McCarthy has served as Speaker of the House since January 2023. He was elected to that post, succeeding Nancy Pelosi, who had been Speaker from 2007 to 2011, and again from 2019 to 2023. His ascension to the post was anything but easy, although he had the support of former President Donald Trump. When Republicans became the majority in the House, a faction was steadfastly opposed to McCarthy because they thought he would do pretty much whatever it took to advance his own career at the expense of his political philosophy. The opposition was made up largely of members of the Freedom Caucus, a group considered to be one of the most conservative blocs within the Republican conference. It took 4 days of negotiations and 15 ballots before McCarthy was elected, more rounds of voting than any other time since before the Civil War. But at no point did McCarthy indicate that he was ready to give up the fight, although he was willing to make some major concessions demanded by the opposition that would limit his power as Speaker. Included in those concessions was a new package of rules that Congress will have to abide by for the current term. Included in those rules is one which reduces the number of representatives required to oust the Speaker. Another prohibits the passage of any budget resolution that includes an increase in the debt ceiling without spending cuts. McCarthy's stubbornness paid off, and on January 7, 2023, he was sworn in as 55th Speaker of the House. It's been said that McCarthy is a less than stellar public speaker. When he was young, he suffered a speech impediment and worked with a therapist, and that has been cited as the cause for his occasional awkwardness as an orator, and some have uncharitably implied that he is one of the less intelligent members of Congress. So what led McCarthy on the road to the speakership? He was born on January 26, 1965 in Bakersfield, California, the son of Roberta Darlene and Owen McCarthy. Roberta was a homemaker and Owen an assistant city fire chief. His mother's father was an Italian immigrant and his dad's father was Irish. His parents were both Democrats, and Kevin is the first known Republican in the family. According to a 2018 article in the Tribune of San Luis Obispo, California, there's some minor discrepancies between McCarthy's official story and the actual details. By his own admission, his high school career was pretty lackluster. He didn't apply himself to classwork. He played tight end on the school's football team, where once again he was, in his own words, not the star at all. Nonetheless, in 2014, he was inducted into the Bakersfield High School Athletic Hall of Fame. McCarthy himself says his inclusion had more to do with his political career rather than his athletic talents. After graduation, he attended community college for a short period of time. Then, in 1984, at the age of 20, he bought a lottery ticket that changed his life. He invested the $5,000 prize money in the stock market. He dropped out of school and used the profits to open Kevin O's Deli, which, according to the Washington Post, consisted of a counter and a refrigerator inside a yogurt shop owned by his aunt and uncle. A year or so after he started that business venture, he registered as a student at Cal State Bakersfield in 1987 while working part-time as a firefighter. There, he earned a Bachelor's of Science in 1989 and a Master's degree in Business Administration in 1994. In 1992, he married Judy Wages, who had first met in a high school biology class. Judy has been described as a woman who always keeps her focus on her convictions of faith, family, and friends. Her close friend Sally Thornberry says, "Judy is the ultimate there-you-are person, always looking for a way to support the people around her and treats everyone with respect." In 2014, Judy served as a trustee at Ford's Theater in Washington, where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. She also worked for the California Republican Party and was active in raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for the party. The couple has a son, Connor, and a daughter, Megan. It was around this time that McCarthy's interest in politics was piqued, he says, by the contrast he saw between the pessimism of Jimmy Carter and the optimism of Ronald Reagan. The year he went back to school, he also began an internship in the office of influential California Congressman Bill Thomas, who McCarthy considered his mentor. That internship led to what would become a long-time position on Thomas's staff. When McCarthy ran for Speaker of the House in 2022, however, Thomas offered scathing criticism of his former employee, calling him a liar. Thomas said, "Kevin will basically be whatever you want him to be. He lies. He'll change the lie if necessary. How can anyone trust his word?" The accusation made by Thomas seems to stem from McCarthy's unwavering support of former President Donald Trump. After his career with Thomas, McCarthy became chairman of the California Young Republicans and later the Young Republican National Federation. In 2002, he won a seat in the California State Assembly's 32nd District, and from 2004 to 2006 served as minority leader. In 2007, he was elected to succeed his former mentor, representing California's 22nd Congressional District until 2013, the 23rd District through 2023, and now represents the 20th District. He quickly advanced the ranks of Congress, becoming the House Republican Chief Deputy Whip in 2009, House Majority Whip in 2011, and Minority Leader in 2019. He held that position until January 23, when after a contentious 15 ballots, McCarthy was elected Speaker, replacing Democrat Nancy Pelosi. Congressional representatives earn a base salary of $174,000. When McCarthy was sworn in as Speaker, however, his salary jumped to $223,500. Before entering politics, he was solidly middle class, and then came that life-changing lottery prize of $5,000, which set him on a new course. At the beginning of his political rise in the California State Assembly in 2004, McCarthy likely received a salary in the neighborhood of $99,000, and later, as Minority Floor Leader, around $113,000 annually. Now, there seems to be some discrepancies among estimates of the Speaker's net worth. A website called CAKnowledge.com reported his net worth as $95 million, which would place him as one of the wealthiest politicians in the United States. But another site, CelebrityNetWorth.com, says he's worth about $300,000, and the LA Times reports his net worth at a minimum of $81,000. So what is correct? CAKnowledge.com reports that McCarthy owns several assets in the form of luxury cars and $21 million in California real estate. In 1996, he and his wife Judy purchased a 1,571 square foot house in Bakersfield with an estimated market value of $300,000. In 2018, when he was House Majority Leader, the LA Times reported that a company owned by his in-laws had won more than $7 million in no-bid contracts at U.S. military installations and other government properties in California, based on a dubious claim of Native American identity by McCarthy's brother-in-law. The company, Vortex Construction, was owned by McCarthy's mother-in-law and employed his father-in-law and sister-in-law. Judy McCarthy was listed as a partner in the 1990s. The company was awarded more than $4 million in minority set-aside contracts for projects at China Lake, California. This prompted questions about whether McCarthy did anything to steer contracts to the company. The Times investigation found that while claims of Native American ancestry were false, they found no evidence that McCarthy steered any contracts their way. The $95 million net worth estimate seems at odds with McCarthy's relatively modest middle-class lifestyle in Bakersfield. That's quite different from the more common estimates of $300,000. Most sources peg his net worth much closer to the $300,000 mark than to $95 million. And there have been no serious direct accusations of corruption on his part. So Kevin McCarthy has risen to a position of power as Speaker of the House. And it should be pointed out, the Speaker of the House of Representatives is third in line for the presidency.